Meeting of the Golf Commission for 2/11/2026 to order. May I please have a roll call?
Yes, sir. Chairman Dell,
Here, present.
Vice Chairman Moore,
Here.
Commissioner Johnson,
Here.
thank you. Commissioner Lawson is excused. Commissioner O'Connor. Here. Commissioner Altenshot.
Here.
Commissioner Page is absent, and sir, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's start out with the presentation for open meeting law and parliamentary procedure. Will that be conducted by Annie, or? Thank you for doing that, Annie.
Yes, thank you, Chair Dale, Commission members. I'm Annie Meredith, your city clerk, and I am going to do both of the presentations today. I will do the open meeting law annual training as well as the commission handbook overview. So let me just fix my thing here. So you guys are probably mostly familiar with open meeting law, but we do provide this annually as a training to all of our boards and commissions as a refresher in case there were some things that were forgotten, or for the new commissioners that we bring on board so that everybody understands what open meeting law and parliamentary procedure are for the city of Kingman. So basically, open meeting law is the rules that govern that the business that we do as a public body is done in public. It says all meetings have to be public and anybody that wants to attend should be able to do so. Basically, the public's business needs to be conducted in public. Open meeting law matters because it protects the public and it preserves their right to participate in government. It also maintains the integrity of the city as well as making sure that our citizens are informed of what's going on and helps to build trust. Who must comply with open meeting law? It's you as a commission, but more importantly, you as an individual commission member. If we do get a open meeting law complaint, it is against you as an individual, and I like to point that out because you would be responsible for representing yourself or getting representation to address an open meeting law violation. The city does not represent commissioners in that, and the fines and sanctions for violations are on you as individuals. What constitutes a meeting? It is any type of gathering of a quorum of your commission. So you are a 7-member commission. That means anytime 4 or more of you are together, it's considered a public meeting. Vacant positions do not reduce your quorum. And what constitutes a meeting? It's not just this, right? There are so many ways with technology nowadays that you can be considered to have had a meeting. It can be an email, which is why when we email the commissions, we say, please do not respond all, because then that would constitute an open meeting law violation. It could be a social media post that somebody puts, we should really do this at our golf course, and then you're like, yes, I agree, and another commissioner, and then as soon as you hit 4, you have an open meeting law violation. So we just want to make sure that everybody is very mindful of that, and we avoid those things. It can be text, it can be a variety of ways. So this is definitely not an extensive list, but it is, some of the more common social medias. We just obviously want to avoid that. So we say, if there is something that you want to talk about, just ask staff to place it on an agenda so you guys can have a discussion here as a commission. Splintering the quorum, that is when, say, 2 or 3 of you go out to lunch and that's not a quorum, but then one of you leaves there and has a conversation with a commissioner about what you discussed at your lunch, and then that's considered splintering the quorum, meaning the intentional or the initial group was not a quorum, but then it became a quorum because the message carried beyond that initial conversation. Informing the public, we are not allowed by state statute to hold a meeting that has not been publicly noticed a minimum of 24 hours in advance. For our boards and commissions and council meetings, we try to make sure that we are posting those agendas publicly a week or so in advance if we can, just to give everybody the opportunity to see what's going to be discussed and have the opportunity to attend if they should choose to. Our agendas have to have the date, time, and location of the meeting. It has to have a list of anything that we are going to be discussing. And then if it's not something as simple as, like on yours, there'll be like a superintendent's report on golf course or maintenance report. That's pretty obvious of what you're going to discuss. They're going to give you a report on those activities. But if it is a rates discussion or it is something a little bit more in depth, we want to make sure we have a summary so that when somebody is reviewing our agendas, they can know just by quick sight, have an idea of what's going to be discussed. If an item is not on the agenda, it cannot be discussed. And I like to highlight that because sometimes when staff is giving a department report or you're discussing another item, maybe it triggers a thought or something that you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to ask about this. Again, the best practice is to, in the part of your agenda where you can ask for future reports or updates, to say, hey, can you bring this back? I want to make sure we have an opportunity to discuss it. Anything that is discussed on an agenda that was not agendized is considered an open meeting law violation. So we just like to be aware of those. And any action that is taken on those kinds of items is null and void and has to come back before you anyway. So it's best to just ask that it be placed on a future agenda. Open to calls to the public is an item that is on our agendas. It is not required, but we do allow it. It is an opportunity to allow the community to come forth and share their thoughts and their concerns about things. We do impose a time limit. It is 3 minutes. The public body, you guys, for call to the public, cannot respond, right? It's not a time for conversation. Unless there is direct criticism of a commissioner, that commissioner can respond to that. What you can do is ask staff to review the item, ask staff to follow up with the person, ask for it to be placed on a future agenda for discussion, and those types of things. You can also sit in silence, which is often awkward, so people will just say, thank you, I appreciate your comments. The public has the right to attend, listen, tape record, videotape. They don't have the right to speak unless they've signed up appropriately through our channels, and they do not have the right to be disruptive. Once somebody has spoken at call to the public and then they have sat down and they want to come back up, you do not have to allow that. And on agenda items that are reports, those are not areas for call to the public or any just in the audience to be able to address you. A report is just that. It's a staff report to provide the commission with updates. You can ask questions about the information pertained in that report, but again, it's not a time for public comment. I already covered this. If you violate open meeting law, it is a violation against you as an individual and you would be responsible for that. If you have found to be in violation of open meeting law, you can be removed from the commission. Conflict of interest. We are a small community, so there are often times that the people that sit on our boards and commissions are subject matter experts or have businesses that serve the different goals and objectives of the city. So we just ask that if there is an item that is coming before your commission and you have a conflict, whether you are providing that service or whether you have a financial interest in the business that could be providing that service, that you just let us know. And there's a form that your recording secretary has that you fill out, and then we just ask that you excuse yourself from that agenda item. On council, they'll just step back into the conference room and then come back out when the agenda item is over. Again, look at the agenda ahead of time, see if you're going to have a conflict, and then just let staff know. If you are not sure, then you can always ask the city attorney's office if they think that you need to recuse yourself from that conversation. And should anybody on our boards and commissions have a interest, then those companies do have to go out to formal bid, even if it is below our formal bid financial threshold, because there is a potential interest there. Remote interest, that's if your cousin's, uncle's, brother's, neighbor owns a business, you're aware of it, but you don't have any direct financial gain, you do not have to worry about remote interests.
Should it still be reported?
You can say if you want, but that huge long list tells you what remote interests are. And again, we rely on the integrity of our commissioners to just let us know if you feel that it is a remote interest or a direct conflict, and to recuse yourself if necessary. Does anybody have any questions on that information?
I want to add that all of us can add agenda items equally across the board as commission members. If, going back to that, some guys have asked me to add things to the agenda when realistically we all can.
So there definitely is a process for that. And the appropriate procedure would be during your request for future reports and agenda items. That's ideally where you as a commission make those requests. We will cover that more in the handbook, but it is ultimately up to the staff liaison to review that request, see if it can be satisfied in an email back out to the commissioners, if it can be handled in a report, or if it needs to be brought forth as an official agenda item.
Thank you.
Yeah. So parliamentary procedure, the city has adopted its version of Robert's Rules, which is allowed. So we do not follow a strict Robert's Rules of Procedure. We do, however, follow parliamentary procedure. Parliamentary procedure is the rules of conduct for the meetings that keeps it civil, it keeps it respectful, and it allows everybody the opportunity to be a part of the procedures. It's important because, again, it makes sure that we conduct business well in our meetings. Motions, a motion is how an action is taken at your meeting. So if you have an item that is listed for discussion and possible action, that is your opportunity to make a motion. For commissions, you really just make main motions. There are opportunities to amend motions if necessary, but for the bulk of it, it's just going to be a main motion where you introduce an option for the commission to take under consideration. When you present a motion, you want to obtain the floor by addressing your chairperson and asking for the floor. Make your motion, make sure it's clear and concise. That's important, number one, so that everybody on the dais knows what the decision they're making is going to be on, but also for your recording secretary who is capturing it for the minutes, as well as those who are joining us online and on our live stream. When they watch it, everybody can understand what that motion was. After you make a motion, you can wait for a second, or the chairperson can call for a second. If there is not a second, then the motion is lost or it fails. Same with a tied motion. So if you have a 2-2 vote or a 3-3 vote, that motion also fails. The chairperson will state the motion. We have a motion to ... and a second. Is there any further discussion? That is the opportunity for the commission to give any additional commentary. Sometimes that is where a commission person can say, I like the motion, but I was really hoping to include this, and whoever made the motion could amend or expand on their motion to include that if they chose to do so. And then after the discussion, you put it to the membership. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries or motion fails. Parliamentary procedure, again, it's the best way to get things done. It allows motions that are order, make sure that everybody's obtaining the floor properly, things are done clearly and concisely, and we're being courtesy and obeying the rules of debate. Are there any questions on that?
7 people voting, how many need to vote yes for it to pass?
Your quorum is 4. So in order to have, on a 7-person vote, it would be 4 yays, 3 nays. Today you have 5. So again, you would need 3 yays, 2 nays. Next, I am going to do a quick overview. We recently updated our board and commissioner handbook. It was emailed out to everybody, but we thought it would be important to highlight some of the important things. I am most certainly not going page by page through the handbook. I did provide you a copy today. At the end of the handbook, there is a handbook acknowledgement form that we ask that you sign and turn in to the recording secretaries, and then they will get those back to our office. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. So what are the responsibility of commission members? The responsibilities of commission members are really to provide valuable link between the community and the city council. To attend the meetings, 3 or more unexcused absences will result in removal. An unexcused absence is any absence that was not reported to staff 24 hours in advance. That is how we determine an unexcused absence. We expect that you'll review the backup materials ahead of time, become informed with what's going to be on the agenda, solicit feedback from your friends, your neighbors, community members on the items you're going to discuss. Again, you are a representative of the community on this commission, and then to be engaged. The role of the chairperson is to coordinate with the staff liaison on meeting agendas, to preside over the meetings, encourage discussion among the commission members, to keep the meeting on track. Again, we go back to that. We kind of, if we're getting off the agenda or we're getting off topic, we want to make sure that we bring the meeting back on track, and then ensure all participants are treated with respect. The role of the vice chairperson is obviously to fulfill the roles of a commission member, but also to assume the duties of the chairperson in his or her absence. The role of the council liaison. The council liaison is really here to attend the meetings as an observer and to provide updates back to council. They do review the applications and recommend appointments to fill vacancies. They encourage and support the members to achieve the mission within your boundaries established by the council. The role of the staff liaison is to attend your commission meetings, assist the chair with meeting management and decorum, to work with the recording secretary on the agenda preparation and making sure that information gets sent out to you, to communicate with the commission members, to report to the city manager any issues that there may be with commissioner attendance. The last couple of years, we had some issues with commissioner attendance across the board, not just this commission specifically. So that is something that the council has asked us to monitor. To report to the city clerk's office any resignations or vacancies. That way we can put it back out to the public. Any commission vacancies that have more than a year left on their term, we do want to get those filled so that you guys don't have empty seats. And then encourage and support you guys to achieve your mission within the boundaries established by the council. The role of the recording secretary is to attend the meetings. They work on the agenda. I don't have it on here. The recording secretary also does the minutes and brings them back for approval. They do provide communication to the commission members. And then again, we work with the recording secretary and the staff liaison interchangeably on making sure that we get your vacancies filled timely. Excuse me. Some really important reminders that we just want to make sure we highlight. Board and commissions have no financial, operational, or oversight authority over the city or the city departments. Contact should be with a staff member assigned to your board or commission and pertain to your board or commission For you guys, that is Mike and Sherry. If you are not clear on the policies and programs, we ask that you please ask for clarification. Excuse me. Members should not ask for individual reports, favors, or special considerations. Again, if you want an agenda item, sorry, we have a process for that. We ask that you recognize that while you work with staff, that staff reports to their supervisor or the city manager and not directly to the board and commission members. And then boards and commissions cannot create subcommittees. To request an agenda item, again, agendas are set by the staff liaison. You can request it be placed on a future agenda during the request for future reports and updates. And again, like I said before, if staff determines it can be fulfilled by an email or a report to the commission, they are at liberty to do so. Calling for a special meeting, a commission may request to call an additional special meeting if there is an item that needs to be heard before their next regularly scheduled meeting. That is allowed for in our code. Special meetings are subject to city manager approval and meeting room availability. So we have several boards and commissions, and this is our meeting room. So we do have to work within that. And then also, you are, as a commission member, cannot request that an agenda item be held over to a future meeting if you're not able to attend a meeting. We want to make sure that we are continuing with our business and handling everything timely. So we do not allow for people to request that agenda items be held due to their personal availability. That is all I have. Are there any questions on our handbook items?
I want to discuss the liaison. We can address them, direct things to them, but we cannot get in a conversation with them, correct?
Are you talking about the council liaison?
Yes,
So you can always reach out to your council liaison.
during the meeting.
During the meeting is not the time. Again, they're here to observe, to get, your thoughts, your discussion, share it with the rest of the council. I would say that if you want to ask them something, that you could send them an email, you could give them a phone call. That's probably the best way to do that.
Work sessions, if we called a work session, and let's use for an example that we were talking about this rate proposal, and we called a work session, at that point, we wanted the liaison for the council there, knowing that the ultimate proposal is going to go to the council is going to be discussed, that we want that person to hear our nuances of why we think the way we think. At a work session, are we more at will to have conversational topic with our liaison, our council liaison?
So ultimately, they're there to be an observer, right? To take in the information and have the bigger discussion with the city council. With that being said, they are an elected official, right? So I can't tell them what they can and can't do. That's just how the role of the council liaison has been designed. So if you're wanting their feedback based on budget conversations or things like that, I would say that maybe you invite the city manager or the finance director to come if you have rate questions that are specifically tied to that. Because ultimately, the council members will make the decisions and they have their discussion amongst themselves and not necessarily at the commission level. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense, and thank you for that.
Okay.
Because we want that feedback loop. Ultimately, I 100% implicitly trust Tim and Tina, if we did that in a work session, that would get to them, and the Y4s would make it to them as well, right?
Yes.
That's
So if we get to a budget conversation and they're talking about something that pertains to the golf course, then Councilmember Ward would be able to say, hey, these are the discussions, the whys, the commission is proposing this is what they're seeing, and all of that, so that it can be taken in consideration when the entire council is deliberating and making decisions.
And they're going to have some bigger visibility of why it would work or why it may not.
Correct.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Well done, Annie.
Thank you.
Let me scroll back up, get back on my page here. Regular meeting minutes for December 10th. I thought they looked pretty good. Any discussion on those that we need to address? This is separate of the special session. Anybody make a motion to, I'll make a motion to approve those meeting minutes as recorded. Do I have a second? Second is made. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Sir, I need to hear from Mr. Johnson. Commissioner Johnson?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Aye. I
Oh.
approve.
Your vote is in approval of the minutes?
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Special meeting minutes, approval of special meeting minutes for January 22nd. I think they were cleaned up precisely as I wanted. I appreciate that. Foundationally, I think that the rate increase was brought to us in an appreciative manner. We are addressing that because we are appreciative that we are getting the opportunity to have a say in the future of the golf course. But I want it fully laid as foundation that the rate increase was brought to us not as a byproduct of something we are proposing. That seemed to be cleared up in those minutes. Also in those minutes, I want it understood that we gave Golf Pro Mike a approval for a rate to look at, and from there, we had further questions. And if we approve those minutes with that understanding, I make the motion that we approve the special meeting minutes for January 22nd. Do I have a second or any other conversation? Before I ask for a second, is there any other conversation about that? We need to personally, I think we need to lay some foundation when we get back into that regarding bringing Pat and Mr. Shot up to speed. Do I have a second on approval of those special meeting minutes?
I second.
All those in favor signify by voting aye.
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 All those opposed? Sherry, please approve those minutes. Do we have any cards for call to the public?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay. With that, we'll go to action item 4, appointment of the chair for the upcoming cycle. Anybody have an interest in that? I don't want someone in there that doesn't have an interest in that. Personally, I would do another year, but I don't want to keep somebody that has an interest in doing that. I would gladly do another year. I think we're at a crux in the INA, the water, the things that we've got going that we need some continuity. If you disagree with that, I'm all ears. If someone wants to nominate me and go forward with that, I would take it. If not, I don't want to get us into a situation to where the meetings are held for the reason of having a meeting. That's all I'm trying to avoid. Thoughts?
Well, I nominate you as chair.
Say that again.
I nominate you as chair.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a nomination of David Dale for the appointment of chair for the 2026 year. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Did you hear Mr. Johnson? Mr.
I said
Johnson?
aye.
Thank you, sir.
I thought I did, but I'm glad that you clarified. Appointment of vice chair, again, anybody got an interest in that? Ricky, do you have an interest in that? Carol, Pat?
I do not.
I think we've had a pretty good team, super happy with the coverage I've gotten from Mr. Moore in my absence. I'm retired, I'm cancered up and bound to Kingman for at least the next year. After that, I'm gonna wanna call it off, but if somebody's got an interest in that, please make a motion.
Yeah, well, there we are.
I'll be willing to, if nobody else is interested, I'll certainly be willing to do the vice chair.
I will gladly make a nomination for Pat Moore to be the vice chair of the 2026
Second.
Golf Commission. We have a second. All those in favor, Pat Moore, vice chair, please vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
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 All those in the negative? Thank you. Item C, before we bring this up, let's lay some foundation for Pat and for Todd for the missed meeting in special session. The foundation going forward was that it was brought to the attention that the council wanted to get to some sort of financial neutrality with the golf course in its operations. That is a very good goal to have. We're all supporting of that. I think that's across the board. I think it needs to be done in incremental amounts. I think two 20% increases in 8 months or two 10% increases in 8 months is a failure of leadership. I personally would like to see us workshop the questions that we had of Golf Pro Mike regarding the carts, the second seats, the trail fees, the private carts, get some historical data to him that he is unaware of. I am completely supporting what we brought up and voted on in the special session of giving him a rate from which to work from to increase the rack rate, and I will still to this date increase the rack rate, but I will not support a 10% increase on the other 15% of the second largest block of users on his sheet of activity. That is the passes being mainly held by seniors, fixed income people, retired teachers, retired firefighters. So what I want to do is I want to make a motion that we pass the 2026 rate based on the special meeting, caveated with the fact that we do not raise the rate for trail fees or annual passes. With the caveat that we go to work sessions and or further meetings and we work based off of a medium annual income of this city, this 86401, 86409, and we work off of the standard given cost of living raises, and we try to incrementally get to where we need to be. So I would word that in the following manner. I make a motion that we pass the rate increase for the rack rate. Under that motion, we do not increase annual fees, personal trail fees, with us give and take that we will go forward in an effort to make incremental raises to bring up the rates across the board systematically. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? I've heard from Mike, and so I'm gonna honor that. I think that's good. I want you to hear from Mike as well.
So 3-8 total, right?
I think Mr. Johnson needs to silence his microphone.
Mike, can you come up and satisfy some of the questions that we had?
Okay.
Let me, before you start, here's where I'm going with that and why I'm coming out of the gates with that. When this was brought up, it is obviously council driven. It is obviously giving us the opportunity to have a say in our future at our rate. We are all in agreement and voted accordingly that we think the rack rate needs to increase. But we're also of the fixed income mindset that never was it addressed, that I asked you at the end of the January meeting, where are we at on passes? Your answer was, that's a whole nother can of worms. It wasn't passes are gonna go up, passes aren't gonna go down, passes, whatever. We were never given any guidance. Then when it came to us in the special session, passes then were increased as part of the rack rate increase, and I think that was disingenuous. Nothing personal. Carry on.
So what are the questions before I start? Or do you just want me to start?
If you just provide a little brief overview, I know I wasn't here obviously for the meeting. I've read all the requirement, I've read all the attachments and,
Okay.
and things of that nature. So if I'm reading it correctly, everything would be based on the $65 and $70 non-resident fee. 65, I believe, is Monday to Thursday. 70 is Friday to Sunday, and then all the rest of the rates are predicated off of that number. Correct?
That is correct for the daily fees, yes.
Okay. And I wasn't here, so I apologize, but I'm assuming that we evaluated what the surrounding areas and courses were, and that's how we came up with the $70. I personally believe the $70 should be what it is for both sides. So that's why I'm trying to wrap my head around that 65 versus 70. Is that because that was what was historically there previously?
Well, you also have to understand that since we're a city-owned golf course, it's hard to find, everything else we're talking about that's in the area is in-season and not in-season golf courses. So they have in-season rates and they have out-of-season rates. We don't have that. And the next municipality that owns a golf course in this state is where? Because I don't know. Flagstaff?
Williams and Parker.
Okay, so explain to me, and maybe it's just because that's what it was. Why is there a $5 difference? Just because is it instead of just being, what I'm asking is, instead of just being $70 7 days a week for out of towners, why is it 65 and 70?
Well, we were asked to give a rate increase based on 3 different rates. And it was a $60 rate, a $65 rate, and a $70 rate. And so I put together what needed to be done, with the 4 different rates, nine holes walking and riding, 18 holes walking and riding. And based on a $60 rate, a $65 rate, and a $70 rate, with the seniors and veterans getting a discount, the residents getting a discount, to where those discounts would equate to a 10% increase off the current rates. Okay? So we put together that math, and then it was the $65 rate was the common rate that we would go with Monday through Friday, with a $70 rate being the weekends and holidays. And then the numbers that are now, according with the residents and the seniors, with the 10% increase, that's where you see a 30 and 35% decrease with what those numbers are, to kind of equate to what the commission asked us to do, was to kind of come close to the 10% increase of the current rates. Okay? So those numbers can't be exact, but they can be close, right? So that's kind of where that is.
When I look at this, I just am trying to rationalize. I think for me, it would have just been simpler to said $70. That's why and I wasn't here for that meeting, so that's why I wasn't sure. I've read the minutes and I wasn't sure how much dialogue went into whether that was council driven or whether that was just kind of accepting of what was previously.
If I could, it's just how we've always done it. Weekends and holidays are more of prime time, and so we've always had a little higher price on the prime time weekends and holidays.
You originally were working off of percentages too, right? And that's how you got to those numbers. We were looking at the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25% percentage rates that got you to those numbers based on the current rate now, to answer,
Right.
right?
Correct.
Yeah, and there's always been a difference rate-wise from weekday to weekend, even before we started talking about this. It's been that way
Correct.
for years.
Correct, and most municipalities are like that.
Correct.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, there's several, even in Mojave County that have, I mean, I believe Havasu's got they've got 30 different rates for different times, which I think just muddies it and confuses it and makes it a little tougher for us to administrate it. And when I say us, I'm blankly referring to what you guys do at the course.
Right.
The cash register.
Because we're also not a seasonal golf course like they
Right.
are,
So
right?
we-
We're a year-round golf course without the extreme weather differences that they have.
Hence, part of why I would thought, I'm thinking out loud, and I've said this, that's why I prefer us to pare down the number of different rates we have. And because I think you see out-of-town play is gonna come play regardless if it's Monday. I mean, some of our biggest out-of-town groups come during the week. And I don't think the $5 drives them to play Tuesday versus Saturday. I think it's probably more has to do with their convenience, right? And I'm just looking at it from that perspective where I think that my opinion was I just put it 70 across the board, but that's what I was wondering is if there was any of that. I'm good with the rest of that.
And I think Commissioner Lawson directed that very well and intellectually discussed that of exactly what Pat just said, and he wasn't even a part of that meeting, and I think Pat just encapsulated where Sean was coming from, is these guys coming in, I've got a specific, we're having a day of golf out, and they're gonna enjoy our economy, somewhere eating food, doing all the rest, so I don't think it's that big of a thing. Some of the facts that I've just dug up, 86401, 86409, medium average household income, 60 grand. Income breakdown for average household income, which is usually skewered and not used by municipalities for setting fees, is $78,000. Median household incomes, which are, meaning multiple members of a house, is 60,000 to 62. Per capita income, which is your single golfer, your one guy, is 34,000 to 48. Average income by age, median, and this is what my argument is about, is the 64 to end of life, is between 68 and steadily diminishing down to 40, over 65, the average income is $44,000. A 10% increase, then a follow-on 8-month later 10% increase to your pass holders who you know are residents, who are solid supporters of the cause, I think is draconian. And you have a breakdown by household income distribution, under 50,000 in your zip codes. 39% of the people making less than $50,000 in those two zip codes. To get people to 50 on 100 is 30. The difference between medium and average mean income, medium income represents the exact middle of all earners, or 50% earn more and 50% make less, making it a better measure of typical income, while average mean income is the total income divided by the number of earners, often skewered higher by an extreme top earner. Median is generally preferred for reflecting the economy reality of a middle class, whereas averages can overstate the income of a typical household due to the wealth concentration. Meaning, you're taking a household income, they're taking 4 bodies. They're taking 3 bodies. So taking a median income is individual. As per your data you provided at the last meeting, 20,398 18-hole rounds were rack rate. 8,165 were passes, 15%. 38% was your rack rate. let's go with that model, knowing that we're 8 months away from a 10% increase to the general population, and let's go with that model, and then let's revisit it through workshops, through further discussions, and let's deal with it in the cost of living, calm manner of, we're not responsible for the golf course not making a rate increase between 2019, 2026, 2025, when the rate was made in July. We're not responsible for that. Don't hold our feet to the fire for that, and we will not hold your feet to the fire for that. That's not our mistake. So what I am asking is, let's do the rack rate, which was originally proposed, which Mr. Lawson originally proposed. Nothing was mentioned about passes. Let's do that, then let's continue. We're a working body. Let's continue to work on incremental raises for the rest of the masses until we can get where we are, but let's make spatula moves instead of sledgehammer moves, right? Let's massage it into where it needs to be rather than boom, July 10%, boom, February 10%, boom, July 10%. It's too much. The people I'm representing on this dais are my golf friends. I've said it again, it's in the notes, it's in the minutes, we're pricing them out. They can't afford it.
But wait, you just said last July 10%, this February 10%, next July 10%. That's
No,
not.
I'm saying that's what I'm trying to avoid.
But
is
that's
I'm saying,
but that's not what it is. It's last July 10%, this July 10%. We're not calling for a 10% increase today.
I'm saying we will gladly give, I speak for myself, I will gladly give you 10% for the rack rate for July. I will then sit with you in full, open, honest communication and manipulate the numbers of those elderly pass holders to get you where you need to be over the next year, knowing that they're not getting 10% cost of living raises. They have gotten less than 5% in 2 years. They're on fixed income. We have to consider that $34,000 as medium income. That's the zip codes. That's the data that we're dealing with.
So what you're
Is
saying,
the let me ask this. Is the swim pool neutral, revenue neutral? We know it's not. We're sorry that it's not. I want all the swimmers to pay $38 every time they eye the pool. And with the resurfacing of the pool right now, it's going to be a minute before they're revenue neutral. We're going to need a minute. 20%, 20%, 10%, 10%. We need to calm down on your steady customers that are in there buying the Coke, buying the beer, that are on their passes. I get Mike's argument. They're hammering that price to get it down, that pass to get it down. I'm not. I'm merely buying a pass to support my city. So there are people like me, and there are people out there that are counting every single hole to get that pass as cheap as they can get it. Somewhere in the middle is where the rest of us live. All I'm saying is, let's put the brakes on the pass increase for this year. That will equate to a 5% increase over 2 years, still above their cost of living. Then let's start in July having intelligent discussions about where we want to go with that to bring it back to where you think it needs to be, the council thinks it needs to be.
so what
That's all
you're
I'm
saying
saying.
is
I'm
what
not
you're
saying
saying is
we're-
no pass increase to July of 2028.
Say that again?
Well, so what you're saying is no pass increase of anything until July of 2028.
That's not accurate because
Well-
there's not a pass right now that's not going to be expired in 2027.
Okay,
The
but
bulk of the people that got their passes, you're going to find an absolute renewal fest in May because everybody went out and tried to get their pass renewed prior to the increase.
okay, but my question is, if you say start the pass discussion in July of 2026, then you're saying then that increase will take place when?
Whenever you need it to take place, I would say January when the cost of living raises are coming out. We determine that. The council determines that. It doesn't have to be set to this federal budget of July 1. These rates aren't cast in stone as a day when they start. You want it to start January 1 when Social Security announces that it's going up 2.1? Start at January 1. Let's have that discussion July to December so we're ready for it. We're not held by a July date. We could make these recommendations today, the council could vote on it next meeting. It could be implemented that meeting. Fair?
If I could, that's kind of what we were given direction to look at all the rates really for the golf. And we don't think 10% last year and 10% this year is that crazy when we haven't raised our rates in some 7 or 8 years. So,
But again, you're in
that's-
charge of that department that didn't do that. So when you say things that are complaints about your own performance, it's falling on deaf ears with me. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be hurtful. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm saying that's not our fault. We're here to help you and work with you and support you. But that 2019 to 26, 25, what, dude, that was a Mike and a Foggin and a different mayor, and he wasn't here. That ain't us. I'm not here to put a fire out that you started in 2019. It's not our job. I'm here to represent golfers who want to golf, who's in the best interest of the city to support our city activities, who are still supporting you through the snackateria, through everything else, and you're hammering them too hard, too fast. They don't want to hear, well, the golf course, it's deaf ears. Go to one of my golf guys and say, well, you haven't had an increase since 2019. It's not their fault. They're all on board with incremental increases. They understand it. Cost of livings are built into the system, but they're not about these get beat over the head. In this case, every 12 months, 8 months, whatever it is. I'm saying let's do the rack rate now and start satisfying some of that revenue neutrality that you're going for. I'm giving you that. We voted on that. We're giving you that. I'm saying stop the past stuff, stop the personal trail fee cost until it can be discussed and we can come up with a regional rate built in. You can build them in. You can say, January 1, we're going to go up 2.1%. August, we're going to go up another 2.1%. Everyone's ready. Everyone's got, it's a heads up. These things are coming down like sledgehammer blows on people that can ill afford it. Everybody I'm looking at's on salary. We're not. We're volunteers. We're trying to help you. Help me help you. I'm giving you the message of my golf friends. And I'm sticking up for them, defending them. They're all over 65 years old. Well, the bulk of them. They're on fixed income. This is too much is what I'm saying. It's too much too fast. The 10% hurt. They're reeling from it. They're going to renew and they're going to come in at that 10% that they tried to avoid last year. They're already going to get stuck with that 10% we approved last year. Because of what I just told you, a lot of them went in and tried to get their rates in prior to the increase taking place. They're going to get hit with it. And we slam them again with January or July, it's going to look like a 20% increase. These are facts. These are just facts. I'm not pulling this out of the ether. I'm in that boat. I'm speaking for my friends in that boat. Let us meet you halfway. We're giving you something. Fair?
Well, we put this together, trying to get the golf course to be closer to breaking even.
And I understand
And that's what we're trying to do because it's very important. We've been given guidance by council to get that way. And so that's what we're trying to do.
We
And the
have
cost
the
of
same goal.
And the cost of, can I finish? The cost of everything to maintain that golf course has gone up substantially. And so we're just trying to come a little closer. So we don't think 10% is getting hit over the head with a sledgehammer.
We have the same goal. All that I'm saying that is different is the speed at which we get there. That's it. We have the same goal. We're in full agreement.
And Chairman Doyle, I appreciate you're worried about getting hit with a sledgehammer in the 5 or 6 years. It's still a value. And as a golfer, like I pay substantially more when I go other places. And I'm also trying to bring reality to the situation, which is I think our rates should have been up sooner. And I get that we don't want to do that either, but that means for the last 5 years, we've just golfed at a better value, right? To run the course, it takes X. I support the course being revenue neutral, or as revenue neutral as we can make it. I support the improvements we're trying to make. And those aren't free, and they're not, and it's not easy without that.
Again, I'm in agreement. I went through 12 months of agendas from the other Parks and Rec, and I haven't seen an increase for the swimming pool. I haven't seen an increase for tennis. I haven't seen an increase for the other areas. There are other avenues in which we can make money. One of the reasons I want to have subsequent ongoing conversations is because I think there are some efficiencies that we're missing out on. I have talked till I'm blue in the face about what we can do with water on that golf course. I have got 0 evaporation rates reported back to me. I have got 0 research done on moating the ponds. We're the largest clean drinking water storage facility in the city. We're doing nothing about that. What are we doing in efficiency that we can offset with just throwing more money at it? I have brought up efficiency from day one. Solar golf carts over gas, moating the ponds, saving water, efficient sprinkling systems, irrigation studies we funded for $4,000, tree studies we funded for $4,000, master plan audits to come in and do $50,000 worth of work. We have given and given and given. I'm not saying that we're not going to give. I'm merely saying, can we do it in a more timely manner and in a calmer fashion than hit the people that are owning the passes that I just gave you their income rate at their age? Can we not at least postpone and look at incremental raises starting after fiscal year 26, which I guess would be July, and then look at incremental increases? You need to workshop it, let's workshop it.
So, here's my 2 cents. I think that if we don't do the increases across the board, like with just the seniors, we're never gonna catch up with the fees, the cost to maintain the golf course. Those are going up no matter what. So if we wait another year to increase seniors or whatever it is for the memberships, we're always gonna be chasing that ball. I understand where you're getting at with it's a small group of people, but at the same time, look at the needs of the golf course. We need rangers. There's volunteer opportunities that they could probably do to offset that cost to where they can possibly get some free golf instead of sitting here arguing about a small group of people to protect the increases. I mean, nobody likes increases about anything, right? I mean, I'm not getting a 10% raise at my work every year either. You know, I get 3%. Well, if I have an annual pass and it goes up 10%, I'm included in that same group. Same time, I know there's opportunities. I understand we want the golf course to get revenue neutral. We want it to get better. You guys are doing a great job to get there. I think that if we didn't do the increases across the board and just did it for certain people, we're still going to be chasing the 8 ball. If that small group of people, there's opportunities there to help offset that by volunteering at the golf course, if my understanding is correct there, for that. So it's just kind of my, 2 cents.
And also, if they can't afford to buy a season pass, they can pay the daily fee and play too. So there's always that option.
Which is less golf for more money. I'm not okay with that. To rebut, Todd, I'm fully with you on that. We're giving them 38% of the 18 hole revenue, a 10% increase. So we are making a stride in the direction in which we all want to go, where there's no argument that we all want to go that direction. All I'm asking is on the pass holders that we do it more incrementally in accordance with cost of living raises as they come. Maybe, and I brought this up to you when we talked about getting the price right on the new carts and everything else. I told you, here's the difference between you and I. You got cart payments, I don't. So me raising my trail fee to pay for your carts doesn't seem to be to my benefit. You got into a contract for carts that I paid mine with one payment, right? We all want to be at the same spot. But I'm thinking, let's do the 38% of the 18-hole rounds on rack rate increased by 10% starting July 1, whenever the council approves it. and let's leave the annual passes alone, revisit it, knowing that I am in full agreement that that needs to go up, but it needs to go up in 2.5%, 5% increases, not 10%. Young people don't have passes. The old people do. So my motion stands. My motion was second. Let's vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
What was the motion again? Sorry.
The motion is that we agree on the percentage of increase to the rack rate while leaving the trail fees and the annual passes alone and raise them at a later date incrementally.
Thank you.
And I need to clarify, so your motion is, the way you phrase it is to accept the rates that were distributed, essentially minus the pass and trail fee.
Mike, pull up.
Because that was not part of what was originally brought to us from the council of getting revenue neutral.
Okay.
So the rack rate increases the lower box there where the,
So what your motion to prove and what she seconded is to send to council the rates that were distributed to us minus the pass fees and the trail fees, correct?
Yes. And the vote is 2. We haven't heard from Ricky.
What was that? Can you make that motion again? Sorry.
The motion is to approve the rack rate as discussed at the special meeting, giving 10% to that 38% of rack rate charges, leaving the annual passes and the private cart fees alone to be addressed at a later date and brought up in standard at incremental rates less than 10%. That's the motion. It has been seconded. We have 2 votes yay.
Mike, how many members do we have?
We have 227 pass holders.
I'm gonna go nay.
I'm gonna go nay.
I'll support the motion so we can move it forward to the council. At the end of the day, we ultimately don't have the regulatory ability to do that. So to move it forward, I'll support and I'll vote yay.
Sherry, the motion passes.
3 to 5
Mike,
yes.
sidebar. The discussion isn't over. This isn't a period. This is a semicolon. The discussion's going to go on. This is never ending. We're fully with you. That lapse of time that didn't have action needs to be amended. We're all in agreement with you on that. We're in agreement. We're not the useful idiots to use as a hammer on the city council and say, oh, the council or the golf commission's all for all the raises you can get as fast as you can get them. We're not. We want common sense growth of the rate, seeing the byproduct that we realize from those increases in fees, echoing Mr. Moore. We are seeing development. We are seeing betterment. We're all for it. Get in my wallet, but take singles, not 20s. That's all I'm saying.
5A.
All right.
5A golf report.
We are on item C. No. We are on item 5, reports, Golf Pro report. Mr. Golf Pro Mike Matheson, please. Please pass this to Sherry and sign yours if you haven't. Do you have yours signed? Let's help her logistically as we go.
I got you. So we have up on the board, this is on the top left corner, this is the tee time percentage that is run through Golf Now. And it shows what our tee time percentage is from hour to hour. It's incredibly helpful on my end because it just shows that we're a morning golf course, period. And we're kind of also an early afternoon golf course. And it just shows, and then on the right side, it shows the percentage each week of what it is, 93%, 82%, 84% down the road. You can take from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. kind of as it is because very few people will tee it up at 4:30 when the pro shop closes at 6 or something along those lines. But it just shows it shows what we are and who we are and how we are and what we do on a daily basis percentage-wise. It also shows the fact that I think we are a busier golf course than sometimes people think. And because of this is why we're trying to get a big push toward people that still walk in and expect to play right away. Mike Southland is doing an amazingly good job of telling people, please start making tee times. Gentleman came in a week ago Sunday, and we were booked with foursomes for like an hour and a half. And he goes, but I'm sorry, what you're used to doing is not kind of what's there right now. So we're just kindly asking people to make tee times, and the hour by hour shows who we are, what we are, and it shows on Sunday mornings we have 85% or higher tee time until 1 o'clock. So we're a busy golf course, period, and that's what this shows. Below it, it shows if you go from 6 to 4 every day, the percentage increases because you get rid of between 4 and 5 and 5 and 6. And for the most part, the only people that play between that day is City League, County League, Realtors League, those leagues that come in to play 9 holes at 4:30 shotgun, 5 o'clock shotgun. That's who we see a lot of at that point in time. Down below that is you got 57,228 rounds of golf for 2025. And, which is a pretty good increase compared to what I was told at least 10 years ago, 5 years ago. We're not counting COVID year because that was a fluke, so to speak. And it just shows who we are and who takes care and who plays the golf course. On the right side is from December 1st through January 27th, 9-hole rounds, 18-hole rounds, and all the dollar values that go with it, including gift card sales, what we do with Golf Now, Appreciation Day specials. And it just shows what we do as a golf course. And we're a busy golf course, point blank. That's just what we are. And Golf Now does a nice job with that, allows me to see different things that we can point to on a regular basis.
I have never seen that. That is very interesting.
And
to show the thrust that you go through every morning is very impressive.
It's busy. And it also gets back to my point where, we know who they are. They're the same people every day, which I'm a fan of. I'm 100% a big fan of that because they all want to play quickly. They all want to play well. They all want to, and we know who they are. And they want to get in, play the golf course, and then go have the rest of the day. And I'm 100% behind all of that. So, and then when we have somebody that we don't know or comes in for the first time or the second time, then it's, okay, we expect a good pace of play. We expect, and we go through the routine. And but like I said, this just gives you a good example of what our tee times are on an hour-by-hour basis. And that was it for the year of 2025. That's not the fiscal year. That's January 1 to December 31. Yes, sir.
Are you seeing an increase of tee times being made?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not even close.
Mikey's promoting it.
Well, everyone is. I mean,
Yes.
Barry Bailey's been telling people, because Barry works in the afternoon, and people that come in to play, and he goes, we just strongly suggest you guys start making tee times. I've talked to Sean about it too. Just if you're going to play, give me a call. Say we'll be there in an hour. We'll give you a tee time. And we'll make you a tee. You call me at 1:30. Say we're going to play it at 2:40. We'll put your name down at 2:40. Then you have a guaranteed spot, as opposed to 40 people showing up at 2 o'clock, and now it's a mess on the first. You know what I mean? So that's why
very good about your staff coming on board with that,
Yes.
and they are preaching it.
They are. It's an amazing staff, and they're doing a really good job of trying to reiterate to people, look, we're busy. We are busy, and When I take phone calls because they're busy, it's like, hey, what can I get Saturday morning? First available is almost noon. They go, really? Yeah, we're busy. We just are. And the good part about this is it shows we're busy. It shows what days we're busy with, and the Saturday is a little bit is skewed a little bit because middle of August through the end of October, we have tournaments every Saturday. So we don't have the hour by hour by hour by hour tee times for 8-10 straight weeks because we have full field 60-player, 80-player shotguns. So we don't. So those when we have the firefighters at 144 players or the Cowboy Classic at 100 players, or we have whatever it is, like that doesn't show on that either. That doesn't show the daily hour by hour tee sheet on Saturday because it's fully blocked for the firefighters being there for 6+ hours, or fully blocked for Cowboy Classic being there. You know what I mean? So those days aren't even implemented into this.
Do you have formal or informal rules about tee times for Saturday need to be made by Thursday?
No,
or
it's
are you
2 weeks in
wide
advance.
open, wide open.
Well, we take them 2 weeks in advance because on our website it's 2 weeks in advance, so we take them over the phone 2 weeks in advance. So it's the same for everybody, right? And if someone calls and says, hey, but it's 2 weeks in advance. So if someone calls this coming Saturday for 2 Saturdays from now, then they're going to get whatever's there, which is going to be pretty good tee time. If they call me 3 days ahead of time, that's a whole different story. So, but everything is 2 weeks. Everything is 2 weeks because, so tomorrow morning, we'll start taking tee times for 2 weeks from tomorrow on the website. So when people want to call us, they can make tee times up to that same 2 weeks. So it's kind of the same for everybody.
How accurate is the website with the tee times?
Very.
Is it working?
I look at it probably every other day, and I just see what's there, and it's very accurate. Yeah. Because we also have a lot of pass holders that make tee times on the website also. Because there's a place up there to do it. When you go to the drop down, it says members sign in, and you go to there and you can make your tee times without getting charged.
Okay.
So
I think Mikey is the one that found that because I had asked you that
Yeah,
question personally about how are these pass holders and that making tee times, then there is a separate
there is a
menu
separate, yep.
for that.
Yep.
We might need to spread that out. Maybe the word is out, but
Yeah, no
it was kind of a minute to find it, but it worked just like you were going in to book off the street.
Correct. Any questions about any of that? No? Okay. Then,
I like that you're a data nerd. Take that as a compliment.
oh, I do. So here's the superintendent's
I do have a
report.
question
Yes,
about
ma'am.
the scorecards.
Uh-huh. Well, that's
on that
coming
sheet.
next. That's down there. Let
Did
me
you
get through
wanna
this.
Speak on that, or?
Well, it's actually agenda item C.
On the agenda.
But I will answer any questions you have. Once
Well, yeah.
okay, do
When
I need to go?
are the new tee boxes going to be set to go and with markers and?
Okay, hang on. Do I need to go through the agenda?
Well, as a point of order, it's item C on the agenda, so I would do item B next, and then when we get to item C, then ask your question then.
But I'll answer anything you'd like, anything quick. Okay, so Pat and Alex are under the weather. So I get the superintendent's report. Golf course greens, liquid herbicide applications continue in 2-week intervals at a quarter rate in the winter season with strong signs of southern brass button dying out. Areas where the southern brass button weed has been sprayed out are being lightly sanded and seeded, and on the left you'll see before, and on the right you'll see after. So that the one on the left is December 20th, 2025. The one on the right is January 20th, 2026. You can see a marked difference. Next, driving range tee. Sod was removed from the back of the range tee and utilized across the golf course. Excess dirt was removed and stockpiled for later use. TR and OR adding removal of dirt to further level and shape where the concrete pad will be and now has been installed. Wooden forms installed for concrete pour. The new pad was poured on January 20, 2026. Driving range lights were installed on January 20, 2026. And you'll see pictures of the concrete pad being poured, the concrete pad poured, and then the lights being put up.
Complaints about the lights from the immediate neighborhood, yes or no?
Oh, they're not in use yet. So I know no one to the right of the driving range is going to complain because that's the Elks.
I understand they're gonna be shut off at 9:40, no play after 9:45.
I don't know what this, we have to go by the city ordinance, correct?
Yeah, we're gonna look at that. We're gonna be getting it open before long and at night and lighting it.
Yep.
It won't be, we'll stay open till 10 o'clock likely. And our parks are open till 9:30, so it may be 9:30.
Just back of your brain, think about that as they come on and get activated. I've had questions from locals in that condo set, and I said, I haven't seen the lights operate, so I don't know what it's gonna do to your lifestyle.
I haven't seen the lights on yet either, so
Just something for you to think about.
The good thing about Musco lighting, it lights the subject area though, and not everything around it. And that's what we have, so it does a really good job.
Pretty
Right.
bright, though.
They're very bright, but they light the subject area that you're lighting, not everything else, so. That's what, we think they're the best light for that, for driving ranges.
sod placement, newly removed sod from the back of the driving range tee is being allocated in needed spots like on 9 fairway and the 8 green apron. Dirt is being leveled and sod being placed to meet existing sod level. Seams are being lightly sanded and seeded to promote growth. Newly placed sod is then staked and roped off to prevent unwanted traffic from damaging the newly laid sod. The pictures are, the left of the picture is the part of number 9, the left side of the fairway next to the rock. And then on the right is number 8 and the walking area being sodded in, so that is no longer dirt. And it is also roped off. Satellite movement, the irrigation satellite has been relocated to the left of 18 fairway in the desert area. The new signal wire connected to existing signal wire and ran inside 4-inch conduit to satellite. A new location to prevent any possible breaks in the wire. With the irrigation satellite move, we are able to operate with single head coverage, allowing an overall better spray pattern and coverage of individual areas as needed. And you see that right there.
Okay, where was that at before?
It was on the right side of the right side of 18. I believe it's to the right of the cart path. It's now being moved to the left side.
Still on golf course property?
Still on golf. Yeah, it's on golf course property. Yes, sir.
Yes, it wasn't on golf course property where it was.
It was not.
It was not.
There's a long story that you don't need to know about on that. But, okay, so the reason for that move was twofold: get it on our property, and it's actually increased efficiency. I'm sorry that we're asking people that aren't.
I think it was mainly to get it on our property,
Okay.
because the people who own that property keep moving their fence over and over.
They had that shot, and that is their property. Okay.
Golf course tees. Tee markers are moved a few times a week on course tees to help minimize divot patterns. Tee markers are being placed 5 to 7 paces apart to keep divot patterns in one area on the tee during the winter season. Divots on all course tees are sanded and seeded a minimum of 3 times per week. Additional items: low spots along the cart path edges continue to be filled with gravel and or sand packed down and leveled to prevent any possible trip hazards. Bunker rakes are being evaluated and replaced with new rakes as needed. Roughly 50 feet of new PVC pipe varying in size from 1 1/4 inches up to 4 inches in size since the last commission meeting. 5 new sprinklers have been installed, varying from Hunter I-20s to Toro 850 sprinkler cans. There we go.
Comments, please share with Pat how well that irrigation or that satellite thing, that was well done. That was professionally done, the way that that was moved, and the minimal evasive thing. The grass on the 8 cart park area and that desolation area on 9 fairway, that they did an excellent job there. They're still sanding it. They're still leveling it. It is very good. Can we go back to your report for a moment?
Sure.
Something going way back and just, this is, we will, when I discuss rates and we make it an agenda item to do rates, I want to start including Frisbee golf. Just remind me of that. That's just thinking out loud. I've noticed 2 carts that have damage. One's got a windshield crack, one has got, somebody took a golf club to the ball washer. Your cart guy is aware of that. Did that get reported to you?
I know them by numbers, so.
Okay. I had the number of the windshield on a golf scorecard and I threw the card away. The other one I had written down, I didn't bring it. I guess it was a frustrated men's club member that took out the golf ball knob on the ball washer. I don't want to get in the rinse and repeat pattern that we've been in with the last carts. Are we going to start holding some folks accountable for cart damage?
Yes.
I don't know if that was the same one, but I had a broken one in the cart I rented.
Okay, so it is your position that you know who rented that cart and that should be remedied by that person, correct?
I don't know what cart it was. And again, but
general.
here's also the deal, is that when we have the cart signed out, and some people just put a signature up that we can't read, point blank. We don't know. So if it comes back damaged, and it's not found till an hour after they're in because of whatever the staffing is, and we go to see who it is, we have almost no way of finding that person.
Also, are the carts recycled in a day? So it's more than 2 people.
Well, it's very. I'm to the point where carts are not going to be recycled unless we have no choice. So a cart goes out once a day, period. So we can stay away from what is being done. But when a week ago Saturday we were busy can be, the carts got recycled. Or a week ago Friday, we were just incredibly busy and the carts got recycled. So, yes.
But it's in your radar.
Yes.
That if Jim reports to you that a cart's damaged, you want some liability.
Yeah,
back.
we will track down as best we can, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question was more of a generality,
Well, yeah,
merely
100%.
with an example of what
Yeah.
I was talking about, so I wasn't coming out of the ether at you.
But no, if something happens then
And it
yes.
seemed to me that you've got a very conscientious guy in the carts that's reporting that and actually inspecting for damage. He
Yes.
feels that they are an asset, and he's taking very good care of them, in my estimation, and he's concerned about damage in those things and does indeed want to see things happen when they get damaged. It's another efficiency thing, and if money that we think we're paying to improve our golf courses end up paying repair parts on golf ball washers and windshields, that doesn't seem like a good spend of revenue. The marshals, the slow play, we discussed at the last meeting that marshal applications would be taking. I'd like to give you a couple of examples just to kind of keep heat on that flame. We're on 8. Men's group is coming down 11. Threesome, 2 carts. A golf ball is thrown on the tee box, narrowly missing a 5-some to include 2 women, one of them younger. Jim witnessed it. Your employee Jim witnessed it. We had no real way of doing anything about it. We have no knowledge of why the ball was thrown there. The tee was on the far north side of the box, right off the cart path. So it came off of the 11 cart path on the west side of the green, right? The shortest distance. That's the path that starts the loop off to 12. So someone angry at whatever happened on 11 decided to throw their ball up on the 8 tee box, narrowly missing a woman and a girl. That's unacceptable. 2 instances in the last 3 rounds I've played of dogs on the golf course. What are we doing about that?
Well, if those dogs are service animals and proper documentation, they are allowed on the golf course.
There's some that are roaming free,
Well,
yeah.
How would we know so that we don't
well,
underreport or
other than telling us at the turn, or, like I believe there's 2 that have service dogs with proper documentation I've already seen. They're allowed, period.
do they need to be vested?
I don't, I'd have to look up the 88 rules for that.
Okay.
But I was shown proper identification and or proper documentation that the dogs are service animals.
The 2 small dogs.
And the only thing we can ask is, do you have proper documentation?
But that can be provided to you as.
Correct.
Okay,
And every service animal owner knows it.
okay. Then I think I know what you're talking about. On 12, there's a large husky German Shepherd that's with a feller, and it's running wild up and down the fairways. No leash. The 2 small ones are on leashes. It's bothersome to me that they're running alongside the cart at full speed. That seems like a PETA violation, but what do I know? But the one on 12 is a full-blown wild large animal running free. My limited knowledge on service animals are they are to be leashed. Any knowledge of that?
Nope, but I have to check.
Okay. The golf course website, I want to get that link to you. If you feel there are some legal limitations, it is a city-funded, already paid for survey on water use, water perceptions on our aquifer. The gal that I've been dealing with at ASU asked that we put that on the Surbac Cliffs Golf Course website to draw from that pool of audience of who might be visiting that, with the understanding, me and Annie's discussion just now, we've paid to have this survey done. Let's get all the respondents we can get to it, right? Let's get as large a database gathered as we can. I'll get you that link if it seems appropriate to you or you need to bounce that off of Mike. Annie didn't seem to be a problem because it's came out of the city office already. It's already on the city's website. That is merely more of trying to justify and bolster our argument fighting the INA going away. So it's kind of hand in glove with what we're doing. Junior golf, is it on your radar? Are you doing 1 session or 2? Do you have help?
Yes.
Yes, yes, and yes?
Yep.
2
Yes.
sessions.
Yes. We're trying to discuss when the first session will be.
But there will be a fall league.
Yes.
Do you have resources to tap to get you help?
Yes.
Junior golfers?
Yep.
High school golfers? Excellent. The reason I ask like that is we don't want you to not have that based on you couldn't get the resources together to help you because you're 1 guy, 3 guys trying to run it eventually or essentially an incredibly large daycare at that point. Excellent. That is very good. I've had a lot of questions about that. So it's on your radar. Marshals, slow play, where are we at?
Well, again, we are monitoring on a daily basis. Once carts turn yellow or red, or once they turn yellow, we kind of see what yellow means. Because yellow means because all carts that are within 8 minutes of the pace of play, they stay white. At 9 minutes, they go to yellow. So if you're 1 minute into the yellow, we don't care. If you're 14 minutes into the yellow, you're 1 minute away from going red. Now, so it's just training, it's just teaching everyone to continue to look at the screen to see what's yellow and just have it hover over it to see how far behind they are. And I've told them if they're 1 minute past, it doesn't matter. But you also have to look at where the group is in front. Okay, so if they're sitting on 6T and the group in front of them is just leaving 7 green, or 7 tee box, I don't care. But if the group in front of them is now leaving 7 green and they're on 6T, that's a whole nother issue. Send a message, the group in front of you is now heading to 8T, please do your best to catch pace with them by the time you play number 9. So we give them, so that. And then, like there are days, Mike told me a week ago Sunday, we were incredibly busy and we didn't have anything yellow or red till late in the afternoon.
Oh, that's awesome. That is the visibility that you have from the pro shop, not necessarily in the heads up in the carts.
Yeah, well, again, on the carts, it'll show if you're yellow, it'll tell you you're X minutes behind pace of play.
Okay.
My experience is not everyone reads the GPS screen. Because I have listened to it time and time and time again, people going into geofenced areas and they turn the key off and then what did the GPS screen tell you? Oh, we didn't look. Well, that's what the GPS screen is for, is to tell you. And if you're near a geofenced area, the GPS tells you you are near a geofenced area because it shows so that's just been my experience is not everyone reads the GPS screens. But when we send a message, in order for it will show up, and in order for that person to get back to the golf GPS mode, they have to acknowledge it. They have to acknowledge it. So if someone says, hey, by the way, the group in front of you is X amount, whatever behind, and please keep pace, they have to acknowledge it to get back to the golf portion of the GPS. And that's just fact. So
it's what I'm hearing is you're kind of marshaling from the clubhouse.
So on the weekends, when Mike is starting on Saturday or Sunday, he's telling everybody, please keep pace with the group in front. That's all we want you to do. Like, you keep pace with that group in front of you. We will tell the group behind you to keep pace with you and behind them. Fix your ball marks, fill your divots, blah, 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 blah. So they are told that on the first tee when Mike is starting on Saturday or Sunday.
I will confirm that to you.
And then it's please, okay, remember, I mean, he and I we went out last week, I forget what day it was, I think it was last Saturday we went out, and last Friday we went out, and there was a group that was just getting to 14T, and the group in front of them was teeing off on 16. He goes, nope, we just passed that group. The groups behind us are now not a problem. So I went to the groups behind them. Gentlemen, the group in front of you saw that group, went to the group behind them, and went to the group behind them. Gentlemen, the entire golf course is behind you guys. Please play the last 6 or 7 holes a little quicker than you did the first 11, for everyone's sake, please. And then I ask who's ever in the, whether it be Barry or Christian or whoever it is, just please keep an eye on them. And so far, everyone has been. We can see a concerted effort to increase the pace of play. So. But I understand what the martial
I'm
part.
going to echo the fact that your staff is doing very good on that. Agreed. They are preaching. They are the missionaries for your mission, your message. All right. Any other things for Mike while we got him up here
Well,
prior to
I
going
got to go
on
over
to
the scorecards. Anything else? No. Okay, your question, please.
How soon are you going to get the new tee boxes mowed,
When it's
set
growing
up?
season. When the grass starts to grow.
It is.
Well, it is because it was a couple of days of 70-degree weather, but pretty soon we're going to have highs of 50 and lows of 28. So
Okay. Then the other question I have is on hole 13. The course was rated from the front tee box, which was never been used in
Yes,
the
it was.
last go-round. And it's confusing now for the ladies because it's a copper. And you've got sometimes the front box,
Yep.
sometimes the second box.
yeah, you play wherever it is. Because you have to understand, it's not only ladies who play the copper tees. It's the seniors, it's the Elks, it's other people. It's more than just.
I understand, but then that one box, if you play the front, the one box behind it is empty.
So it's okay. You want to give tee boxes breathers.
I understand that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when the tee box is up on 13 and the next week it's back on 13, it's still rated so you can post a score. And when you play the right tee on 2 when it's open or the left tee on 2, it's open, we switch back and forth. And when you play the forward tee on 7, which hasn't been used yet, then the
But
current
it's
copper
still,
tee,
it's still a par five.
it's rated as it's rated.
Yeah.
So you post the score from wherever it is. But you have to understand, if we continue to only use the front copper tee on 13 for the women, other people play that tee box. And then pretty soon that tee box is going to get punished because the copper tees never moved to the original copper tee box.
Okay.
So we have to move the tees back and forth.
We see the same thing on the tips as well.
Yeah.
We play from the gold sometimes, we play from the black sometimes, so just, I mean, that's the same thing. You guys move them based upon need, based upon rest or rehabilitation
Like
of that box.
Correct. Same thing on par 3 tees. When we have an incredibly busy weekend, like I don't want people to play in a tee box that's been there for 3 days and make let's go to another part of the tee box.
Or a different tee box altogether.
Right. And so I've been known to move the tee box, like the gold tee box on 9 back behind the cart path. I've been known to move the tee box gold tee box on 3 as far back as I can. The silver tee box on 3 as far back as I can.
10 this weekend was 240.
10's the same thing.
Right.
So on 10, people ask me, why is the silver tees are always to the 170? Because that's where it's rated from. And I can move it up to 134, but that's where the combo tees are set for. So understand that the silver tee was rated at 170, and for a long period of time, they were playing the 134 tee as a silver tee, and it was never rated. So they get a 35-yard break on a golf course, on a tee box that was never rated. Same, so it's like, so we have to be, especially when it comes to the in-season, you have to vary tee boxes based on what's available. If we know we're going to have, like the firemen's tournament, I set the tee boxes specifically for the firemen's tournament. And then made sure I talked to the maintenance staff the next morning, please move all the par 3 tees, move them all. Because they just got punished yesterday from 144 players. So by the time the players came to play Sunday, all the tees on the par 3s were in different areas, as opposed to where 144 players just played, to make sure they got some fresh grass. And that's the goal of Mike and Pat and myself and Alex, is to give you a different golf course, but we still want to have traffic patterns to be amenable for the tee boxes.
For further explanation, though, and I think Commissioner O'Connor, for clarification, what he's saying is accurate. It's still, the minute that it was re-rated and rated for the varying tee boxes at different yardages based on colors, it's still rated, and it's still slope and rating are accurate to that tee box based on the tee that you played. Correct, Mike?
That is correct.
Right.
Okay. You
That's correct.
understand that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And man, I apologize if that sounded like
No, that's
mansplaining. I am
okay.
not trying to do that.
No, so the goal is that's why I had a gold silver combo and a silver copper combo. That's why we did all that gold black combo. So if you want to play a different golf course, you can play a different golf course.
That was the whole thrust of the rating. We were just so far off with the tee boxes we'd added, with dunnage we had moved, greenage we had moved, gullies we had cleared. We were just off on the rating. So we're there, and I like the cards. I like the layout. I thanked Ueda personally for his data submitted. I think it was all well done. Thank you.
So I will go over that quickly. Every hole on the golf course has a new handicap. So that was based on Roger Wetta giving me 4 years of golf scores from gold, silver, and copper for the men. So 4 years of data. Scott Whitehead gave me September, October, November, just 4 months of data from the Elks scorecards, from the gold, few from the gold, but basically silver and copper. So that got put into an Excel sheet, all the scores added up. Kathy Oates gave me 80-ish scores plus women only. Because everyone has to understand that in the old scorecards, the copper tees for the women were based on men, not based on women. Right? So it's different for women. So Kathy gave me 80-ish plus scorecards. I put them all into an Excel program and then did them and had the Excel do the math and then which hole was harder, and then that's how those now are handicapped for the women on the bottom of the scorecard. That's only for the women. And it was based on the scores I was given. So it's not based on what I feel, it's strictly a data-driven thing. What I will tell you is that everyone's in agreement that the hardest hole in the golf course inherently is 12, not 2. Everyone knows it. 2 is hard because of a tree. So it's not inherently hard. 12 is inherently hard. That's why the odd holes went to the back and the even holes are now the front. And then it was based on data. Again, what Roger gave me, what Scott gave me, and then what the ladies gave me for theirs. And then everything was based on pure, strictly mathematical data on how the holes were handicapped.
Then the raters and rankers came in.
No, they were already done.
Okay.
They had come in September and gave me all the rating information. They gave me all the new yardage determination. They gave me everything. They gave me everything.
So yours was merely a massaging of what they gave you.
Mine was the handicap holes were based on what Roger had given me on pure fact. Okay. Then what I asked the AGA was, I have now 3 sets of combo tees: gold black, black gold, gold silver, silver copper. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I sent the numbers to them. So the gold silver combo is this yardage. And then the gold silver combo, black gold combo is this yardage, gold silver combo is this yardage, silver copper combo is this yardage, and they rated those 3 combo tees from what they had already done. So now if you play our golf course, you can post a score from the black gold combo, from the gold silver combo, from the silver copper combo, and from the copper. You have 7 technically golf courses that you can play at our golf course now. You can post a score. So if you want to have all recognized by the AGA, because they did all the work and they actually sent me everything. So, and that's what's on there now, and that's what's all taken care of. And again, so somebody asked, why is this hole this? Well, it's because that's what the data said. And the USGA recommends that the last 3 holes on the front side and the last 3 holes on the back side aren't all quote unquote hard and aren't quote unquote easy. So they don't want the last 3 holes to be 1 handicap, 3 handicap, and 5 handicap, or 2, 4, and 6. But and if you have a hole on that side that's in the vicinity of that, please switch it. So instead of 17 being the 6 handicap hole, it's maybe the 8 handicap hole. And that's what USGA recommends. That's their recommendation.
Excellent.
So it's not all hard to finish or all easy to finish. And Roger showed me, and I did that, and then we did that based on the USGA recommendation and the numbers I was given from Roger, Scott, and Kathy Oates. And that's how the scorecard came to be.
I think it's most excellent and it's most accurate. It's been in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
What else have we got? Anything else on scorecards? Did you miss any part of your presentation on that?
No, sir.
You're good?
Yes, sir.
May we thank you very much for what you're doing. Please continue it up. Your level of energy there is noticed and appreciated.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I have new business on
Let's
Matheson could answer maybe.
let Miss Tina go and then we'll do new business.
Okay.
Yeah. This is on the transaction convenience fees. I guess they're called convenience fees.
Thank you so much, Chairman Dale, Vice Chairman Moore, and Commission members. I was planning on just speaking to this item and realized that it might be easier to have a visual in front of you. So I did put a handout in front of you this afternoon, and Commissioner Johnson, I'm going to pull it up on the screen for you so that you can also see what we're going to cover today. Let's see. Okay. Commissioner Johnson, can you see that?
No.
Okay, give me a second to share that. IT, can you help me? There we go. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I wanted to just give a quick background on how we got to assessing convenience fees. I know you probably are all aware, but I just want to make it publicly known. The cost of fees are expensive, and the council looked at it as a whole, citywide. They were costing us almost $500,000. For the golf course specifically, it was $36,000 last year. So the council decided to go to a convenience fee option, and that is because not everyone pays with a card, right? Debit or credit. And they felt that it was unfair to assess for all of our customers, to pay for the customers that are paying with a card. So that was the reasoning behind it. Now, there are some questions, I believe, there are some questions about whether or not we can assess a fee on debit cards. And that's what the handout in front of you addresses today. So the card companies, the major card companies, Visa, American Express, Discover, and MasterCard, have 3 different type of card payment programs if we are assessing the fee to the customer. The 2 in black are primarily for the general public, private sector companies, but there is a specific type of program, and it is the orange one, that is allowed for government agencies, educational agencies, and utility agencies. And this particular program allows for a fee, and it is called a convenience fee for most of the card companies, a service fee for Visa, and they are interchangeable. And that is for every type of fee, in person, online, mail, whatever it might be. So it applies across the board for city customers. And that rate can be a flat fee, a percentage fee, or a tiered fee. And that fee can be applied to any type of card. It does not matter if it is a debit card, it doesn't matter if it's a credit card, and it doesn't matter if it's a debit card that does not have a Visa logo. And it is solely for the government, education, and utility agencies. Now, there is a lot of discussion on the internet or when you do searches that talk about that it is illegal for a surcharge, and that is correct. The surcharge that is listed in the middle of this handout, it is illegal to charge for debit cards, or illegal. It is not allowed to be charged on debit cards. However, we do not fall under that program because we are a government agency. Those particular card companies allow specifically us to charge the way that we are charging. So I wanted to be sure that I covered that with you today so that you are aware, because it is accurate out there that with a surcharge, you cannot charge a debit card. Cannot charge a fee on a debit card.
What is our percentage?
At the golf course, it's 3.3%. And that was a rate that we came up with looking at a year of prior transactions and all of the costs associated, and the average cost that we were being charged was 3.3%. So we charge 3.3%, and that is what the credit card company charges us. So we're not trying to make any money on any of our credit card
On a
customers.
debit card, you get charged?
We get charged on, even if it's a pen debit card. It's a lower fee, but we also get charged on debit cards.
I didn't think there was any charge.
There is, yes.
Are you familiar with current legislation in PEMA trying to work its way to the House regarding government use of these transaction surcharges?
I am not.
Okay. There was a news article about it, that they were raising Cain about it. I believe it actually came about with debit cards being used to pay city utilities, being charged this surcharge. So they hit a couple of roadblocks, exactly what you're saying. The roadblock wasn't a legal one, it was a financial one. It was the financial institution, and they went in their argument and said, we're merely passing this off. I tried to do a little reading and research on this, knowing that you were going to be to this meeting, and what you're telling us is 100% bona fide on the red category here. They're fighting it, but we're fighting corporations, not government. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, correct. Yes.
We're mad at you, but we should be mad at Chase. You see what I'm saying? We should be mad at the bank that's doing this, because the bank you're merely the go-between of that fund.
So it would be the card itself, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, them, they charge a fee, and then whoever the processor is, correct? Bank or an institution,
Yes.
correct? Yes.
That's what my research from that lawsuit, I think it was Pima, Yuma, somewhere, and it's the people versus city entity, government agency for that exact category, because they were getting gigged out on water and utility bills.
That is,
Which is why you explained that I don't know if it was here or in the Citizens Academy, but you explained that very well with the water bills, the sewer, the trash, that the city absorbed a lot of that for a long time and a lot larger amount than $500,000. And then you finally had to just say, we got to stop. We don't have a property tax. We need to, so we understand what you're doing.
okay, great, thank you.
The entire thrust of all of this was about the debit card.
Okay, so I hope I cleared that up for you, and not that you want to go out and read the 400-page document from Visa or the white paper, but there are some research documents out there to validate that. So just want to make sure that you're aware. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
you.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions for Tina?
I need to go back to Tim Matheson.
Okay, go.
One thing that was not cleared up with last minute.
Thank you, Tina.
Mr. Matheson. Matheson,
Mr.
could you come up?
If it's not an agenda item, we can't really discuss it.
It's an agenda. I had mentioned last time about the soap dispensers in the bathrooms on the course being empty. Is there, and you were going to look into it?
I forgot. It's that simple. I will text one of the two as soon as I get out of the meeting. Just forgot. Sorry about that.
Okay. And new? Can I present something new?
Absolutely.
On the tee boxes, it's a suggestion. There's a lot of courses that have a receptacle that's staked into the ground where you can put your broken tees in instead of us throwing them all over and the mowers getting them and so forth. Is there anything we can do about that?
I'm going to speak to this individually as someone who spent many, many times moving those things on a daily basis. I hate them.
Yeah,
Wait, time out. Tell me the reason why. Maybe 20% of people use them. 80% of tees are still all over the tee box. I've been on 4 maintenance staffs, and I did that on public golf courses, private golf courses, semi-private golf courses, you name it, I've done it. On municipality golf courses, and they're all the same. Really? Private clubs, it's less than 20%. I'm telling you. And then we just got to move them. You put them a little bit too long in one place, and now the grass starts to die.
If I could, this stuff isn't on the agenda right now, so if we want something to put on the agenda to talk about for the next meeting, that's what we should be doing. We can't just talk about all the stuff we want to talk about. So it's important that we try to follow Robert's rules and do it the right way. So that's what I was trying to get at with this. If something wasn't
If you want to
agendized.
add that to the agenda, we can.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. Just
That's okay. That's okay.
Any other new business that you want to address? Any other questions for our wonderful staff helping us today? Thank you to Sherry as usual. Anything that you want to see on the next agenda? I have a couple items I'll get with you, and we will address them. Thank you for this booklet. Sherry provided that for us, showing the parks, the events coming. To Tina, to Smiley, to Mike, to Sherry, thank you very much. Commissioners, thank you. If we have nothing else, I would like to make a motion to adjourn. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.